Welcome. This webinar is being sponsored by the TDMWEBACADEMY online business training portal. The TDMWEBACADEMY is a network of sponsoring business partners collaborating to present online training for startup, micro, emerging, and existing small business entrepreneurs, as well as nonprofit organizations seeking greater effectiveness and sustainability. Our sponsoring business partners include North Carolina Entrepreneurial Business Resource Center, QRQ Enterprises Incorporated, TDM Business Tool Suite, and Virginia Entrepreneurial Business Resource Center. Please note that the design and content materials of this webinar have been developed and copyrighted by TDM Business Tool Suite. Permission is not given to reproduce this webinar for any purpose. The webinar presented today is Z001-Entrepreneur Primer. This is one of many webinars that is part of our Small Business Development Curriculum, which is a program of study that is designed to provide startup and emerging for-profit businesses with the perspective, knowledge, and training necessary to grow a business from startup to success. The series of webinars examines a variety of topics that focus on entrepreneurial development processes such as quantitative and qualitative characteristics of a successful entrepreneur, steps in starting a business plan blueprint, and strategies in developing a successful business enterprise. Z001-Entrepreneur Primer is an introductory webinar that provides an overview of the character traits of an entrepreneur. Participants taking this webinar will learn the key character traits that have been identified in many of the most successful entrepreneurs. Starting a business is a big step, regardless of who you are or how much money you have. It is a journey about understanding self. Those individuals who are thinking of starting a business should understand some key elements about what it takes to become an entrepreneur before they embark on such a journey. In our presentation today, we will discuss 3 key topics that will help the individual learn how to prepare for the journey by discovering what it takes to be an entrepreneur. 1. We will first discuss the definition of an entrepreneur based on our experience as entrepreneurs. 2. We will then provide an overview of character traits that most successful entrepreneurs have found to be critical in their success. And 3. Finally, we will present a recommended process that will help individuals determine whether they are an entrepreneur. So let's begin by discussing the topic, what is an entrepreneur? There are many different views on what an entrepreneur is. However, our experience and research has found that the act of being an entrepreneur also has 3 fundamental characteristics that serve to help crystallize the very definition of what is an entrepreneur. These visionaries are individuals who, 1. Are willing to take a risk. That is, taking a chance on the possibility of a gain or loss of resources that includes money, time, and effort. Taking a risk is an important part of being an entrepreneur. Whenever an individual makes a decision, they are taking the chance on that possibility of a gain or loss. In many instances, the decisions are made based on information that is available to them. Therefore, they are making informed decisions and have estimated what the probable outcome will be. 2. Have recognized an opportunity. An opportunity is the possibility of some gain of resources such as time and money. Key elements that can be explored to determine if an opportunity exists are to recognize a need, a way to fulfill the need, and a way to benefit from this opportunity. 3. Can provide a solution that solves a problem or meets a need. If an idea does not solve a problem or meet a need, want, or demand, then an individual might have a hard time convincing customers to buy their products or services. Based on these 3 key characteristics, we have defined an entrepreneur as someone that is willing to undertake a venture with the understanding that there is a potential for loss, a possibility for gain, and a likelihood of meeting the needs of many. To further understand the definition of an entrepreneur, it is important to know and understand the entrepreneurial profile or noted character traits looked for in a successful entrepreneur. Next, we will discuss the profile of an entrepreneur. Making the decision to be an entrepreneur should not be taken lightly. Before making that decision, an individual should perform a self-examination of their character traits to determine whether they have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Many studies have been conducted with successful entrepreneurs to try and answer the question of what it takes to be an entrepreneur. These studies have identified a number of characteristics common to all successful entrepreneurs. First, an individual that is eager to succeed. Such eagerness manifests itself in secondary character traits such as being ambitious, flexible, enthusiastic, positive, and patient. An entrepreneur has a strong desire to obtain wealth, skills, or freedom. Exhibits a willingness to adapt to a changing environment. Does not quit. Works to overcome any of the obstacles or roadblocks that may obstruct the path to success. Is excited about the venture and shows interest in the idea or concept. Entrepreneurs usually have an unyielding belief that they will be successful. Therefore, they continue to be positive and persistently pursue their dream regardless of the obstacles they face on their journey to success. Second, an individual that is self-aware and insightful. Entrepreneurs are aware of their strengths and weaknesses and have a perceptive nature as to how to overcome their shortfalls. An entrepreneur must have the ability to perceive and understand how their actions and behaviors generate positive or negative results. Is open-minded and recognizes when there is a need to seek help. Recognizes and desires to improve on their weaknesses or shortfalls. A self-aware and insightful entrepreneur must have the ability and desire to explore their inner self and others around them in order to achieve their dream. Third, an individual that is determined, decisive, goal-oriented, a problem solver, persuasive, creative, and responsible. Entrepreneurs have the ability to set their sights on something and take the steps towards achieving it. An entrepreneur is aware of and pays attention to small details. Considers all possibilities to achieve their goals. Is dedicated to reaching the finish line. Has the ability and willingness to make decisions. Takes the lead. And analyzes and explores alternate solutions. Finally, an entrepreneur is an individual that possesses some business aptitude, competitiveness, financial and organizational astuteness, is a visionary and risk-taker. In essence, an entrepreneur values the cost of things so they can recognize a real bargain. Wants to and makes every attempt to achieve more than others. Thinks of ways to make something out of nothing or make a lot out of a little. Continuously thinking of new ideas and new ways to solve problems. Seeks and forms strong relationships with others who are similar to them. Has the ability and willingness to make decisions in the absence of solid data and examines the situation to predict possible outcomes. And is able to communicate, guide, influence, and direct people. The characteristics mentioned are the common traits found in many successful entrepreneurs. It is not our contention that an individual must possess all of these characteristics. We believe that if an individual lacks one or more of these traits, there is still a possibility of succeeding as an entrepreneur. We also believe that individuals are both born with and can develop character traits that can lead to becoming a successful entrepreneur. It's all in the profound belief of an individual and their desire to succeed in life. The real test of whether you are an entrepreneur is not whether you possess all the character traits, but whether you can clearly and definitively answer yes to the question, are you an entrepreneur? So ask yourself, are you an entrepreneur? You can answer this question by doing some soul searching about who you are and what you are committed to. A good starting point is to review some of the traits that we discussed earlier and determine if you possess any or all of them. For example, ask yourself if you are committed, self-aware, goal-oriented, persistent, competitive, or a risk-taker. If you can answer yes to some of these traits, then you can more than likely answer yes to the question of whether you are an entrepreneur. If you can't answer yes with conviction to any of the character traits that we've mentioned, then you might want to stop and do some more soul searching before you begin your journey of starting a business. If you are confident that you are an entrepreneur, then we recommend that you, first, perform a thorough self-evaluation or assessment. Make a list of your perceived strengths, weaknesses, skills, and character traits. This list should help provide guidance on how you can capitalize on your strengths and minimize or even eliminate your weaknesses. By using what you've learned about your strengths and weaknesses, you can then strategically take advantage of opportunities. Second, evaluate your business idea. Thoroughly examine the idea to see if it is worth pursuing. This can be done by comparing the business idea with your skills, interests, lifestyle, or a perceived need in the community. You can also share your idea with others and get some feedback on the feasibility of the idea. Third, define your blueprint to success. After doing a self-assessment and an evaluation of your business idea, then it's time to define your blueprint to success. That is, it's time to write your business plan. The process of writing your business plan provides the opportunity for you to really refine and analyze the business idea, identify the requirements to set up the business, identify the competition and market potential, identify the people needed to run the business, and estimate how much it would cost to operate the business. This concludes our presentation on the basic character traits of an entrepreneur. The information was presented in a question and answer format by providing answers to 3 basic questions. What is an entrepreneur? This discussion summarized the definition of an entrepreneur as meaning someone that is willing to undertake a venture with the understanding that there is a potential for loss, a possibility for gain, and the likelihood of meeting the needs of many. Profile of an entrepreneur. This discussion provided an overview of character traits often observed in successful entrepreneurs such as self-awareness, insightful, and risk-taker. Are you an entrepreneur? This discussion made recommendations on how to do some soul-searching as to whether you are an entrepreneur by writing down a list of character traits that you think you have and matching them with the list we've provided. We also provided some recommendations on how to proceed if you have determined that in fact you are an entrepreneur, such as identifying your personal and professional attributes, strengths, and weaknesses, identifying your business idea and determining whether it will be feasible to establish a business, and defining your path to success by writing your blueprint to start and grow your business. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for your participation. For more information about our upcoming webinars, please visit our website at www.tdmwebacademy.com or email us at info@tdmwebacademy.com.